Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia. Please remember, if you're enjoying these shows so far, we're week 3. Crazy, right? Week 3 of the 2024 season. If you're enjoying the shows, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. You can always become a member by going to our channel homepage and clicking on the join button next to our logo. And if you can't catch us on YouTube, you can always watch us. Actually, you can actually watch us on Spotify or listen on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You know, Jack and I were saying right before we started, what does it take to get like a seltzer sponsorship around here? Like we're just enjoying some seltzers on a Friday Junior here. Nice Thursday afternoon. There's Jordan Love news coming out. There's Contenders, Pretenders in this episode. Some game picks. We love the preview shows.
Yeah, I mean, any sort of brand. Perrier.
Signature Select.
If you say Perrier, we have no chance of getting that sponsorship.
What do you mean? It's not Perrier? It's Perrier. What else?
It's Perrier.
Oh.
It's French, Perrier. Jack. It's French.
Oh, all right, but come on.
I mean, that could be part of it. Drink your Perrier self.
Yeah, drink your Perrier.
Perrier.
Enjoy your time watching a movie on your derriere and drink your Perrier.
There it is.
There it is right there. There it is right there.
If anyone knows anyone who gives that seltzer sponsorships, we'll take one. Well, honestly, we'll take anything.
Sit on that derriere, drink that Perrier. There it is right there.
I mean, yeah, that's it.
So I pay me the big bucks.
This is why Ziggy sticks around for things like that.
Cheers.
Happy Friday Junior to everybody. A week 3 preview episode coming today. As I said, we'll start with Contenders, Pretenders off the top. Zig or Zag will be in this. The Jack Cap of the Week returns. Jack Cap of the Week off we don't need to talk about it. Jack Cap of the Week, week 4.
I forget what my pick was last week.
Forgot about that. You know, I tried the best I can. You want koozie, Jack? Or your seltzer?
Sure.
Look at this. Keep your seltzer cold.
Oh, thanks.
That Wisconsin Badgers koozie?
This is Wisconsin Badgers.
Wait a minute. This could be
maybe a little hint of the cap.
Maybe a little hint.
Maybe. Who does Wisconsin play this week?
I guess that answers that question.
Wisconsin, tough go last week. Hey, maybe Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, Wisconsin's going to USC. Oh wait, no, they're on bye this week. They're going to USC the week after. Otherwise, you would have picked
Alabama.
Alabama. USC goes to Michigan, I believe.
All right, so you know what? Enough seltzer talk, enough college football here. We'll get to the cap of the week in a little bit. Why don't we start off, as I said, with the Contenders, Pretenders? What we're going to do, we're going to go through the 2-0 teams right now. There are 9 2-0 teams in the NFL through 2 weeks. 5 in the AFC, the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Texans. 4 in the NFC, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Bucs, and your Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry I didn't do that for the Steelers. Your Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's fine.
Your Minnesota Vikings.
We're at your house. It's your home field.
And I mean, you're used to it. You're used to good starts. You're used to good teams. And for Ziggy and I, you know, we see 2-0, and I'm like, Super Bowl's on.
That's like being 16-0.
It is. I'm considering Super Bowl boxes right now. I'm texting people I know, like, hey, what do we have to do here? I texted my boss today. I said, hey, we possibly be looking into box seats for Super Bowl. And he wrote back, do you know any Saints fans?
I mean, it's too bad you're a pretender.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So we're going to go through the 9 2-0 teams. Not all of them, though, because we know the Chiefs are contenders. And we'll talk about whether or not. What?
Do we?
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
I was forced to put him at 1 on our power rankings. I didn't want to put him at 1.
Well, you almost had everyone fooled with the Seahawks bet.
I mean,
he didn't have me fooled. I know, Jack.
The Seahawks are better than the Chiefs.
In the on our Instagram poll too, and we put out the power rankings. We put out a poll that said who messed it up. Like 12% of people maybe said Paul. About maybe 30% of people said no.
I'm down to like 17.
You're down?
Yeah, Ziggy's to like 9.
Ziggy's got a large majority of people are upset with your Los Angeles Chargers at 3, Ziggy.
Can you see who voted for who, or you just see who voted?
I can see who voted for who.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
A lot of people upset with Ziggy.
I want to shout out here Benjamin Cowan, who put, I think, the only comment worth reading on that post, Ziggy never makes mistakes. And that's true. It was not a mistake to put the Chargers at 3. Remember we were saying during the episode, right? If the Eagles lose this, Ziggy's going to look like a genius. And of course, what happened? Primetime Kirk, 5-2 in his last 7 primetime games, gets it done versus the Eagles. I never make mistakes.
You know, to be fair, also,
Ziggy doesn't miss.
We have prematurely left out 2 teams from the power rankings. The Cowboys, everyone thought the Cowboys should be in, mauled by the Saints. We leave out the Eagles, lose to Atlanta at home. Like, just saying, you know, maybe there's some degree of truth to these power rankings on the Paul Farrington show.
There is a crystal ball effect type of here. a crystal ball type of effect here. I just messed that up completely.
And,
A little bit.
and look, you are not going to find these. Yeah, you're not going to find these rankings anywhere else.
Want to touch my balls?
I was going to say there's no way that you could no one else would ever put the Chargers at 3, but it turns out that was incorrect.
Let's see. Does this magic 8 ball here works? We have so many different things we could play with behind this bar. We're going to have to incorporate that
we
more.
sure do.
More.
Sure do.
We'll go to the magic 8 ball once during this episode. All right. So contenders, pretenders. The first team we said were the Chiefs. Can we just all agree they're contenders? Does anyone have anything to say? Really, like truthful.
I think the Chiefs and the Bills, we can both just sort of move on.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I wanted to actually ask you. Oh, really? Because I was going to assume the Texans were contenders as well.
Let's throw Texans in here because I think Jack and I don't know.
Well, here's what I was going to say was for those two teams, who do you think is the bigger threat to Kansas City, the Bills or the Texans, of those two undefeated AFC teams?
Buffalo, 100%. I mean, this team has put up 30 points down in their first 2 games. Josh Allen, one of the best playmakers, best quarterbacks I've ever watched. When you have a guy like him, he's a bigger threat. I mean, CJ Stroud is good, but he's not on the same level as Josh Allen yet. So as long as they have Josh Allen and this offense clicking like it is, it's Buffalo.
There's a tie among the 2-0 teams for the lowest point differential across 2 games at +8. One of them is Kansas City, and you can see why, right? They played the Ravens, they played the Bengals, 2 very good teams. The other team at +8 right there is the Houston Texans. Now you go back and say, all right, maybe they played some tough teams. They played Caleb Williams and the Bears, and they played the Indianapolis Colts. And what have they actually shown us over, I get that they've shown us CJ Stroud's a pretty good player, but they put together a few games. They won a playoff game. That's nice. But they didn't exactly look like contenders when they went to Baltimore last year. Then they come around this year and struggle against 2 bottom feeders, the Colts and the Bears. I am not convinced that this Texans team is even a real contender. Whereas the Buffalo Bills, they went to Miami and blew out the Dolphins before Tua was hurt. They beat the Cardinals, who seem to be a pretty good team. So until I'm proven otherwise, I am easily slotting the Bills in there as the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC.
Okay, we're going to have to revisit the Texans in a second here. But as far as Buffalo goes, I'm totally with you guys. I think, Jack, as per usual, you nailed it perfectly right there.
As I tend to.
The Josh Allen factor is too much to overcome for me. Outside of Mahomes, right now, Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the National Football League. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, and I think when Joe Burrow is fully healthy, he has just as much of a claim to the second best player in the league. But Josh Allen at this moment has been unbelievable. And what's actually crazy about Buffalo, all the defensive injuries and the departures this offseason were a huge offseason story. And they're the pressure they're getting up front, there were 44 dropbacks in the Dolphins game. The Bills only need to blitz on 2 of them because Ed Oliver and Von Miller and Gregory Rousseau, all of them are getting. They're putting tons of pressure on just with the defensive line, and they're letting these guys, a lot of them who are backups behind them, that you could drop back a little bit more. It's a little bit easier in pass coverage. It's been a really impressive defensive effort from Buffalo so far, who even against the Dolphins offense with Tua in there, like you said, Ziggy, we're looking very good. Buffalo's come out and kind of quietly had 2 very, very impressive wins because one's a Thursday night game that, like Thursday night football, people watch it, but doesn't get nearly the attention of Sunday night or maybe even Monday night. And then that Cardinals game kind of just slipped under the radar. I don't think anyone talked about it.
And they beat them by double digits, too.
They beat them by double digits, and the Cardinals, we saw what they did to the Rams. I think Buffalo right now is probably the team that Kansas City's circling and saying, hey, here come these guys again in terms of people we might have to watch out for.
And it's interesting, too, and I've said this in the past a couple times, that Buffalo in years past, they've been that one of those teams in that tier. We talk about the teams who can win the Super Bowl, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, whoever, and Buffalo's always been on that list. This year, they've taken a bit of a step back in terms of the hype. You lose Stephon Diggs, lose a lot of pieces. This is the year people are saying
Aaron Rodgers is
right. Rodgers on the Jets. This is the year people are saying maybe Buffalo's now past that window. Now the pressure's off them a bit, and this could be the year where they actually do what they were projected to do for years and years and years.
It's always a different story when we get to the playoffs, though, and you have to go into Kansas City.
It is.
Yeah, but Josh Allen has shown that he can go into Kansas City and play at a level necessary to win.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
one of the few guys who can do that.
Him and Burrow.
When do they go? Yeah, him and Burrow.
Him and Burrow. That's it.
about it.
That's
Yeah.
the list.
When do they go to Kansas City? I'm assuming. I know they play Kansas City.
It's November 17th. Doesn't Kansas City go to Buffalo?
Yeah, to Buffalo. Which I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time.
Last time in Buffalo, Chiefs beat them in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I had the Bills money line in that game.
Yep.
That's how I remember. But the Chiefs beat them.
So yeah, November 17th. That'll be a fun watch there. Buffalo to me right now though is the class of the AFC East too. I picked the Jets. Stupid. That's stupid of me, but
Well, you're a stupid guy.
I am stupid. So the Texans here. Let's dive into that a little bit more. You guys, I feel pretty confident saying that Houston is a Super Bowl contender with a dynamic offense. Nico Collins is leading the league in receiving yards. The defense has been good so far. Daniil Hunter, his addition has been great for them. Will Anderson looked awesome, I thought. Why do you guys hold back a bit on them? I don't see why.
I mean, if I had to pick one of the two, I know we'll get there. To pretender or contender, I'd have to say contender before I say pretender. Because
let's say pretender. Like I'm saying contender.
Like pretender is a strong word. I just don't think they can win the Super Bowl. Like I have not been super impressed with Houston.
So who's your top tier of AFC teams right now?
I go Kansas City.
Just the tier. You don't need to rank it like in order. Just Kansas City's on that
it's
tier.
It's probably just Kansas City and Buffalo.
Those are your only two.
And then I'd probably put Houston in that second.
The next tier.
But you have these, and I know it's week 2, but you have Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and it looks so good on paper, and yet they haven't clicked yet for me.
It hasn't felt the way that many of us expected.
Right. Like I expected Houston to come out and beat the Bears at home on Sunday night, like 41-7. This is a team last year too.
Big expectations.
Like this is a team though last year too. Who was what were they? They were 9-8, right? 10-7.
I can't remember the record.
It's like 9-8, 10-7. Stroud played amazing. They won a playoff game. Great. They got blown out the next week. Now you come into this year so far. They beat the Colts by 2, who couldn't beat a backup quarterback in Green Bay and scored 10 points. And then you host who I think the worst quarterback in the world, the worst team in the world is, and they score 16 and look kind of soft.
Yeah, I mean that game they should have beat the Bears by a little bit more.
I know, but they don't look like a contender.
19-30.
Like if you watch Houston the first 2 weeks, they do not look like a contender.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would like to see 2 touchdowns against the Bears.
The Bears have a good defense, guys.
But the Bears have a good defense, but if you want to compete in the AFC, you need to be able to score a lot of points against a good defense. The Bills have a good defense. The Chiefs have a good defense. The Ravens, I'm assuming, will eventually have a good defense. The Bengals hopefully will have a good defense. Like there are a lot of teams with both explosive offenses and elite defenses. The Texans have potential to get there. But you sit back and ask, have they shown me enough to think they're really in the top tier of pretenders? I mean, we had a Texans fan complain we put him at 6 because that's not nearly high enough. I mean, yeah, they're more of a contender than a pretender, but I think it's way too early to say they're one of the best teams in the AFC.
You know what, guys? I'm going to come in and I'm going to try and hog all the Texans fans' positive comments for this clip that goes out, because I'm looking at Houston as a team that has a lot of new pieces, especially on the offense. If that's kind of where we're putting our attention right now, Stephon Diggs is new, Joe Mixon's new, Tank Dell's returning from injury. Of the weapons they have right now, those guys are all kind of getting used to the offense again. Nico Collins looks like an alpha receiver. I mean, he looks amazing. We were talking about that the other day. Nico looks like a premier NFL wide receiver 1 at the moment.
Nico Collins could become the best player from Michigan in NFL history.
Hey, you never know.
With the other pieces that they have, to be 2-0 right now and not looking as good as we think they can, I think that's a great sign for Houston. Is that there's room to grow here. This is still a really young team, all things considered. To be able to beat the Colts, to beat the Bears, 2 teams that aren't playoff threats in our eyes, but are mediocre NFL teams. I think you're happy with those wins, and now you have the Vikings this week, who the Vikings defense has been very good. You have the Jaguars, and then you get the Bills. So you're kind of ramping up to that big game against Buffalo. I'm expecting them to get to a level on offense where they can contend toe to toe with anybody in the AFC. Like, would it shock you at all if in a week they're scoring 30 points.
And no, I mean, like they should. They have the weapons and they have the offense to be able to do so. I'm literally just saying right this very second,
No,
which I guess is kind of foolish. But
I want to see it. I want to see them live up to their potential.
And it's hard to say they won't. I do agree, Paul, that I think we're both kind of on the same page in the sense that it's a team that needs to just gel a little bit more into what they can do. And if they do that, there's no reason to believe this team's not one of the best teams in the
They'll
league.
have their tests, and I want to see them.
But apparently, though, like they haven't got there yet.
Yeah, when they have Josh Allen on the other side of the field, when they have Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they play all these teams in the regular season. I'm excited to see how CJ Stroud responds to that because, in my eyes, he's sitting there as that fifth best quarterback in the league right now. And I feel pretty good saying that. Who else are we putting at number 5? Like Herbert, Ziggy? Would it like Herbert maybe?
I think they're I think they've shown much more than the Texans.
No, I'm talking strictly quarterback. If you're talking top 5 quarterbacks in the league, we have the 4 everyone says: Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar. I think right now I'd go CJ Stroud at 5.
I mean, if he's the 5th best QB, he's got to score more than 12 points against 12 fantasy points against the Bears. So now I'm dropping him on that list now.
Yeah, Jack lost his fantasy game by what, 0.03?
Yeah, like 3 yards, something ridiculous.
Just brutal.
Score 1 touchdown against the Bears.
Okay, so we move forward here. How about the Chargers? I mean, speaking of the Chargers, Ziggy, I'll let you start off here because you are very bullish on this team. So contender or pretender?
Yeah, I am. This is going to sound silly of what I just said about the Texans, but I'm willing to open myself up to some risk here. I think this Chargers team is a contender. Now, you can say they haven't played the best teams, and that's true. They played the Panthers and the Raiders. Raiders might not be as bad as everyone says, but not exactly a tough schedule. What they've done, though, is they've shown that they are a completely different team under Jim Harbaugh, right? They are a team that is tough and physical, and they haven't let these games get close, right? The Raiders game, it was close for a little while, but the Chargers comfortably pulled away near the end. The Panthers game, there wasn't a shadow of doubt at any point who was going to win that game. And that's very different than this Chargers team at
dumpster fire.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look, it's the Chargers of the past. What would they do? They'd never put games away. If they got off to a big lead, they'd immediately blow it. Nobody looked like they knew what they were doing, except maybe Justin Herbert. Now you're taking one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You're surrounding him with a functional run game. You're giving him a defense that, even if it doesn't have the most talent in the world, has a lot of really good players. And you're giving them a scheme where they know what to do and they're playing effectively. I think this Chargers team could be very, very good. Given what we've seen from them, it's tough for me not to put them in the legit contender spot.
Can we do something we should have done off the top of the show? Can we just define contender in this situation? As like, what is it? What are you viewing? How are you defining contender for the Chargers?
I think the division's in play for the Chargers.
I'm sorry, to what, win the Super Bowl?
Well, they're number 3 team.
If the division's in play in the AFC East, I think very highly.
Can we say contender in this game is to get to the divisional round? Is that fair? Divisional?
They might get to the divisional round automatically.
Yeah, no, okay, sure. So that'll be the criteria going forward.
Super Bowl.
Get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, because
only one team from each division is getting to the Super Bowl, so that's not all that.
Yeah, but do you think a contender's team who goes to the divisional round? Like anybody can go to the divisional round.
Well, that's not true.
Championship game?
All right, fine. Divisional round's fine. That's fine.
Divisional round?
Yeah, that's fine.
Win a playoff.
Some of these 2-0 teams are definitely not getting the division.
You get to the final 8 games.
Right. Win a playoff game.
Okay, the Chargers, contender, pretender.
I think they're a total pretender.
But they're number 3 on our power rankings, Jack. How can they be a pretender?
That's your fault.
Our joint power rankings have them at number 3. I did not want to put them at number 3. I had the Saints at number 3. No, the Saints at 4. I think the Eagles at 3, but that was a bad take now. But not the Chargers. I think it's a cute story. I think Justin Herbert's a very good quarterback. Yes, they're 2-0. Their defense has looked good, but they've played 2 of the weaker offenses in football. J.K. Dobbins leads the league in rushing, which I'm impressed with.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
good for J.K.
It's funny, Ohio State running back, Michigan head coach. They played against each other a few times. It's funny how that works.
Harbaugh knows what he's working with.
Dobbins had the game-winning touchdown, right, in the overtime game years and years ago.
He did. Yeah. He did.
I bet he's trying to overuse him. Tears ACL again. Probably some horrible revenge plot from Jim Harbaugh.
But the Chargers, they beat up on 2 weak teams, and they don't have anybody that really makes me nervous at all. I mean,
You're not at all nervous about Justin Herbert?
Oh, I mean, but who's he throwing the ball to?
Quentin Johnston.
That's exactly
Will Disley, Vlad McConkey.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. So about like Quentin, where did he said he's
how about the NFL's leading rusher, J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when they lose to Pittsburgh this week and they lose to the Chiefs, they'll be 2-2, and this all dies off. I think it's a cute little start. They're 2-0. I'm not buying them at all.
I think that the Chargers are going to be a very tough out for anybody because Jim Harbaugh has come in and has immediately done what Jim Harbaugh does, which is fix the lines, and they're winning at the lines. They dominated on defense both times, and the offense, yeah, they're what second in the NFL, 197.5 rushing yards per game. I do believe that they are going to be a tough out for anybody. As far as making a divisional round playoff game, I think they're a contender right now.
Yes.
I do think that they're a year away. Like, get some more pieces, because I agree with you, Jack. I'm not super scared of Quentin Johnston or Ladd McConkey or these guys, but give them a year, let them figure it out, and come back next season really contending with the Chiefs for the AFC West. So I'm going to say pretender as well right now on the Chargers. Let's see. The Magic 8 Ball says on the Chargers, are they a contender? The Magic 8 Ball says most likely.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Ziggy tends to be a genius a lot of the time.
All right. Most likely from the Magic 8 Ball on the Chargers.
It's hard to pick against Ziggy.
So the next team here, and we'll try and be a little tighter on these here. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Jack. Contender or pretender?
Unbiasedly, a total contender.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With that ferocious offense.
I mean, this is the best. It's the best quarterback we've had.
Speaking of offenses that scare you.
It's the best QB we've had since Big Ben.
How dare you even...
It's the best QB that we've had.
Justin Fields.
Well, I'm not comparing Fields to Big Ben. I'm saying it's the best quarterback this team has had since Big Ben. When you have a defense more ferocious than the 2009 defense,
oh my God,
you're a contender. When you have TJ Watt, when you have one of the best corners in football, Joey Porter Jr., showing why he should have been a first-round pick, balling out these first 2 weeks, only going to get better. When you have these ball hawks and you have these ferocious beasts playing defense, a team
you beat the Broncos by 7.
A team who can stop anybody. And Justin Fields at QB, he'll get it. He'll figure it out. Trust me, I know he will. He's Justin Fields. Mike Tomlin's a good coach. Pickens is a dog. Best QB we've had in 8 years. Best defense in football. This team is a contender. The tougher games in their schedule, they host them. They host Dallas. That's a win. They host the Jets. That's a win. Watch out for this team. They're a contender. I'm telling you. TJ Watt, JPJ, George Pickens, dog. Towels out. Contender.
I will say this.
In the North. It's the best team in the North.
Yeah. Historically, a strategy of running the ball with a league-leading rate, never turning the ball over, and trying to hold the opposing offense to 0 touchdowns is not a formula that's repeatable in the NFL. And even if you look at some of the more advanced numbers like success rate and EPA for the games the Steelers have already played, they got 2 wins, but the results don't look great. I am just not confident that a team without a functional offense is a contender in the NFL. And the Steelers have done nothing to suggest they have a functional offense. So I know Mike Tomlin, he's going to keep doing this strategy until it doesn't work. And then when it turns out it doesn't work, there'll be nothing left because it's too late in the season. Pretender. I am not more. They are the team I am least confident of any 2-0 team.
Keep hating.
There are 9 teams that are 2-0.
Fuel to the fire. Keep going.
There are 9 2-0 teams in the NFL, and this is easily, to me, the biggest pretender.
So when they murder the Chargers, Ziggy will change his mind.
Well, Ziggy, will you change your mind?
Yeah.
No? Okay. All right, let's see what the Magic 8 Ball.
I mean, I still don't think it'll work all season, but I'll feel better about it.
Are the Steelers a contender? The Magic 8 Ball says, don't count on it.
Yeah, fine. Keep hating the best franchise in football.
I'm sorry, Jack. The Magic 8 Ball has spoken.
And that is for all the Packers fans, too. We have the best franchise in the NFL. It is not you guys. It's us.
We move along on the contender versus pretender.
It's us.
We're through the AFC teams now, so we have a few NFC teams to go. Why don't we start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South? Jack, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I mean, they're a contender. They're already in the divisional round. They're going to win the South. I should not forget about the Saints. No, they're a contender. A team who was
The Falcons. I'm sorry. Did Kirk Cousins
he didn't impress me. I think Philly might stink. Seriously.
Well, hold on a second. You want to say the Falcons are good though, because the Steelers beat them.
Well, it's a mix. Falcons are good.
Yeah, okay.
It's a mix. Falcons are good, and Philly's not that good. It's a little mix of both.
It's whatever the argument.
It's yeah, pretty much. I'm going to say contender. On this Bucs team, a team who I thought could have legitimately been in the NFC Championship game last year. Baker Mayfield, he needed a change of scenery. That's really all it is. He needed to go down to South Florida, down to Tampa, change of scenery.
It seems to help most people.
Yeah, he's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, two elite receivers. I mean, probably slept on as some of the best in football. No one really seems to ever talk about those two. And to pick up last year, after last year's playoff run, to now be 2-0, go to Detroit, beat the Lions, defense looking awesome, and with some injuries too. They're a total contender in my eyes if we're going divisional round.
Contender for Jack, Ziggy, contender, pretender, Buccaneers.
I'm almost 50-50 on this team because they've looked pretty decent, but I don't think any quarterback in the league has been helped more than Baker Mayfield. And I'm not sure. I mean, Godwin and Evans at this point are producing after the catch at a historic rate. I agree with Jack. They are very, very good. One of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. But even they've never produced this much after the catch. And if that slows down, you start asking Baker Mayfield to do more. Things can get dangerous.
They can't run at all right now.
Yeah, you've got no run game. Bucky Irving's going to take over the room in like 2 weeks. And no disrespect to my guy Bucky, but I don't think that's happening. And the defense has been bend, don't break, and it's worked well so far.
They're injured.
But they're injured.
You know they're injured.
Look, it's difficult to bend, don't break your way into the playoffs and into success in the playoffs. I don't want to put in too many contenders, so I'm going to put them in pretender. But I think they are far and away the best of my pretenders, and it wouldn't take a lot to convince me to move them up.
Ziggy.
Paul, so now break the tie.
So we have
break the tie.
Pretender from Ziggy.
We know what Paul's
Jack.
Yeah, we know what Paul's saying.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, if our criteria is making the divisional round of the playoffs, Bucs fans have the right to sit back and look at you, Ziggy, and say, but Mr. Ziegler, we were there last season. And frankly, we should have gone. We had an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game. And I think they're right to call you out on that. Now, I've been to Cleveland before, and I've been to Tampa Bay before. No disrespect to Ohio. Lovely state. Beautiful in the summer. We went to school in the Midwest. It's nice out in the Midwest. But then you get to
non-Cleveland.
You get to November. You get to December, January, February, March. I mean, March is just a horrendous month in Cleveland. Imagine like living in Cleveland in March, unless at the NCAA tournaments there, it's just tough.
Living there in June or July is tough too.
We get it. And look, I know a lot of people from Ohio who love it. Nice state. But there are some times where it's tough. You go down to Tampa Bay, and you're down by St. Pete's, going out on the water. You're having lunch outside. You feel the breeze coming in, palm trees. Baker Mayfield looks like he's had that upgrade, not just in his lifestyle, but also in his play. And he's confident. He's having fun at the podium. He's not snippy. Like, I think Baker right now is in a great spot. And there is a limit to how far Baker can take you in all likelihood. Like, I would be surprised to see them playing in the Super Bowl. But in terms of having the opportunity to get there in a divisional round game or even the NFC Championship, I think they can absolutely get there. The offense is not saying like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You're kind of waiting for them to slow down, and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to say contender. With the I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. So that's where our criteria matters here.
Bucs Forge.
But yeah, I like the Bucs. I mean, I think they're a really fun team, and I think that they're going to be competing for the NFC South all season. Let's see. The Magic 8 Ball says, are the Bucs contenders? Outlook good.
Oh, there you go.
Outlook good on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's going against Ziggy. All
right, let's keep it in the NFC South. The New Orleans Saints, who are blistering, 45.5 points per game on offense, 405.5 total yards per game. Derek Carr looks good. Alvin Kamara rejuvenated. Defense flying around. Ziggy, contender, pretender.
You know, I am usually hesitant to move too far off of my preseason rankings, but what the Saints have shown in these first 2 weeks is impossible to ignore. The offense looks completely different, right? Clint Kubiak, I apologize to Saints fans. You and I, as scarred Vikings fans, said there's no way bringing this guy in is going to change your offense. It did. right? He has a much better running scheme. That running scheme is making things much easier on Derek Carr. It's just making things open up in the back. Dennis Allen still has a functional defense, right? Even though Marshawn Lattimore is hurt, they're still making it work. And honestly, I feel like with all of the chatter they've gotten and everyone being on the hot seat, this team is very motivated. So, they're the highest scoring team in the NFL. They routed the Cowboys on the road. How do you not put them at contender?
Oh, this team's amazing. And I had them at number 4 in my power rankings, and they fell at number 4 in our joint power rankings. They got playmakers all over the place. I'm starting Shaheed in fantasy this week, no doubt. He's been on my bench the last 2 weeks. He'll be in the lineup this week. Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara. Derek Carr looks like he's found himself. I mean, like, what is this? Like, Derek Carr, he's back. He's back. Defense flying all over the place. If you go into Dallas and win by 30 points, you can't sit here and tell me, they're a pretender. Absolutely not.
Man, I hate the Saints. There are, I dislike the Bears. I have a strong disliking of the Green Bay Packers. I hate the Saints. They are my least favorite team, possibly in professional sports.
But they're good.
And I do have to acknowledge that, through 2 weeks, we're completely wrong. And all the Saints fans who got on us saying Clint Kubiak's going to change the offense, as you said, Ziggy, they look right at this point in time. In the red zone, 8 for 9 converting on touchdowns. They're 57.1% on third down. If you take away their fourth quarter plays, when they've kind of just been running out the clock, they've converted 14 of 17 third downs. Like, they are just clicking. And as Lucas Patrick, their guard, said, Clint's in his bag. So I think at this point in time, I am hoping for a negative turnaround on New Orleans. But based on the evidence that I have seen, you can't say anything other than contender right now. It's just pure hoping that, for me, that they become a pretender. The Magic 8 Ball says, will the Saints be a contender? Reply
It'll get back
later
to us.
And try again.
It'll get back to us.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe we'll come back at the end on the Saints. I'll have come back.
I was born on the Feast of St. Luke, so I've always been a bit of a Saints guy myself.
There's a feast day for a Saint on basically any day, Jack.
Oh, is there?
Not always for someone as big as Luke the Evangelist, but
yeah, Luke's a pretty big one.
Seahawks. The Seahawks have beaten the Broncos and the Patriots. Patriots in overtime. Geno's playing well, but their wins are not particularly impressive. Contender, pretender, Jack. Seattle Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks. I do. I like to root for Geno. I like to root for them. I like to turn those games on at 4:25 and watch Seattle play. I've always liked them. I'm going to go pretender though. The offensive line has looked horrendous. I mean, 2 safeties against the Broncos, which is why they were losing the game at half by 4 points. Against the Patriots, 40 yards rushing. The O-line's been bad. And the passing game has looked good. Like, Geno has looked good. I just don't, and the defense has looked good too, but I just don't trust Geno Smith and this offense as a passing unit, which is what they'll have to do because our offensive line is pretty terrible. Like, I don't trust these guys against teams like the Niners and the Cardinals who are rising up. Like, this Seahawks team to me is still the 3rd best team in their own division. And while I hate to say because I like them, I'm going pretender.
Yeah, it's tough to be a contender when you don't have a realistic path to winning your division. And I agree with you, Jack. I don't see that for this team. I think the Broncos and the Patriots are probably maybe not 2 of the worst teams, but 2 not very good teams.
Yeah, they're up there.
Both games have been within a touchdown. Geno Smith, I think he's all right, but we've seen plenty of decent Geno Smith starts turn bad fast. And I will say, right, the offense looks better. It's clear that they're excited to have some new play calling in, some new philosophy after the Pete Carroll days. But I don't think that's going to be enough to make this team a contender. It's going to be a tough battle to stay in first in the NFC West. They're not going to win it. As you say, I don't think they're even going to come in second. So I think they could be a playoff team. Maybe. They're not going to make any serious playoff push.
Total pretender. Total pretender. And they'll be competitive. This is another one of those other teams that every week in and week out, they should be able to give you a good game. But come playoff time, I said at the beginning of the year, this is the exact same team that they've been now for 2 seasons.
We'll find out if they can give you a good game. They've got some tough games coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, they're not a team that I look at and they did not take any steps forward to me.
And they're not scary.
They're talented. I mean, they do have talented players. I don't want to pretend that they're a bad team, but But there's nothing about them that makes me think they could get to the divisional round. Pretend there. Magic 8 Ball says, are the Seahawks a contender? What does it say? Cannot predict now. The Magic 8 Ball is starting to get a little annoying here. My reply is a no. All right, so no on the Seahawks. Good.
You ever had salmon in Seattle?
I've never been to Seattle.
Quite amazing. Like, seriously. Once you have salmon there, you can't have salmon anywhere else. And I feel like I've said that before.
You know the salmon in Alaska is better.
Well, I've never had salmon in Alaska, but I mean, Seattle.
You said you can't have it again.
Well, I was.
Once you have it in Seattle, you can't have it anywhere else.
I'm telling you, it can't be any better than the one in Seattle. The one out of Seattle was amazing.
Do you know where they catch salmon?
Is it Alaska?
You ever see the grizzly bears?
Yeah, but I'd be
salmon
floored if there's better salmon than what I had in Seattle.
Dude.
Floored.
Dude, go to Alaska. Haven't been there, but I heard it's good. All right, the last team here. Last team on the Contenders Pretenders, the Minnesota Vikings. This is
New man.
this is a tricky one here. Ziggy and I will hold off to start. Jack, Contender Pretender.
I mean, I have them at 13-4. So, I mean, I can't say pretender when I have them with that record.
Come on, guys. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I like Sam Darnold. He's good. I'm telling you. Contender.
Ziggy.
I mean, they beat the 49ers. They crushed the Giants. Again, I mean, I think you don't want to update. You don't want to move too far from your preseason predictions. And I worry about the injuries. Ivan Pace hurt. Justin Jefferson hurt.
Well, Jefferson's fine.
I mean, but those kinds of things can slow you down. Addison hurt. Hawkinson, I mean, he's been out. But like, this team has a fair number of injuries. Van Ginkel, limited. But how can you not make this team a contender? They've looked as good as any team in the NFL does between crushing the Giants and beating the 49ers. They've got about as good a resume as anyone not named New Orleans. Yeah, they're a contender until shown otherwise. Screw it.
The thing with the Vikings, it all comes down to, do you believe in Sam Darnold or not? And most people would heavily say no. And I kind of don't blame them.
Those people are wrong.
You know,
those people are wrong, Paul.
Yeah, they're wrong. That's the thing. That's the thing. Sam Darnold is playing like Sam the man. Jack's talking me into it. You see, I started traveling down the pessimistic path there. I'll turn it around.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Because this is, after all, I am a Vikings fan. I said I'm going to be more optimistic.
I also know everything.
For crying out loud, we did beat the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm going to say that the Vikings are a contender. The defense has looked awesome. Playmakers all over the place. This is the best Sam Darnold we've had. Is my confidence super high that it continues? Not exactly, but I am going to be hopeful on this show and put out the good energy for the Vikings. So I'll say contender. The Magic 8 Ball, are the Vikings a contender? Most likely. How about
there you
that?
go.
All right,
there
so that leaves us, all right, to recap here. Let's just get our Magic 8 Ball on the Saints. We missed that. Come on, give me a good answer here. You may reply. You may reply on it? You may rely on it.
So the Saints. Okay.
All right.
Well, we all had them as
the Magic 8 Ball says the Chargers are most likely a playoff contender. The Steelers don't count on it. The Seahawks, no. The Saints, yes. The Vikings, most likely. And the Bucs outlook good. I mean, that's pretty. Come on.
So four teams from each conference make the divisional round, right?
Yes. I mean, that's pretty good
three
stuff.
of them are, I don't know about that one, Paul.
That's pretty good stuff from the Magic 8 Ball, I think. I actually think it's what I agree with.
Fans, comment your pretenders and contenders.
Yeah, drop those 6 teams right there.
Did we get this right?
Okay, moving on now to Zig or Zag.
This is my favorite segment.
Look at that, Zig or Zag. Ziggy, do you have your record from the season?
Do we want to know what my record is for the season?
Is it good?
It can't be good. I think I had a pretty good week 1 and a tough week.
You were 2-1.
Yeah, you're 2-1 week 1. I had your Tyreek Hill bet.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're doing Zig or Zag?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe we want to reflect on my record a little bit more. Maybe. I mean, we can look at my record in the Pick'em League and see how good you are zigging or zagging.
I don't know what your Zig or Zag. I did not get that off the top of the show. If you don't have it, that's fine.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, I think the first thing here I want to hear if you'll Zig or Zag. Paul, I think you already know what's coming. Vikings +2 versus the Texans.
They're a home underdog?
They're a home dog after beating the 49ers at home.
That's because people.
What is this Texans? I mean, we said what is this Texans team shown versus what have the Vikings shown this year? You're telling me going to Minnesota, Paul, the Vikings
It's
fans
CJ
are
Stroud
going to
for
be
Sam
into
Darnold.
this.
That's it. I mean, that is the like anytime the Vikings are underdogs, you can just say Sam Darnold.
You'll see the
Underdog,
Texans.
Sam
The
Darnold.
Texans will be inflated every game. They'll be favored in every single game.
Yeah, that's why. So you're going Vikings +2?
It's hard not to, right?
Dude, I like, the home dogs are great. Okay.
Home dogs are barking.
Vikings +2. What else?
Can you bark, Ziggy? Bark.
I could try to bark.
Try to bark. Go bark.
I don't think I'm going to.
Do your best.
What's number 2?
All right, number 2, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We're gonna stick with so Bo Nix. Bo Nix is going to Tampa Bay.
I can't like this. Okay.
And when Bo Nix is going to Tampa Bay, we've seen that defense, it does not break, but it does bend. Bo Nix has looked, he hasn't looked great. He's had a lot of turnovers, but he can sort of deliver the ball. I'm taking Bo Nix over 182 passing yards.
Hate it.
That's fewer passing yards than Daniel Jones has against the Browns.
Zach,
Jack, what are you thinking?
I'm not touching
Bo Nix, he put up more than 182 against the Steelers.
Don't care.
He put 246 up against the Steelers. He's going to need to throw.
Anything
They're
on the
not going to be
Broncos
competitive
offense,
in the game.
Any Broncos offense over, I'm not taking. I'm not taking any Panthers over. I'm not leave it out.
I would actually zig that.
You see what I'm thinking, right?
I could see a world. I could see a world where the Bucs are kind of up and Bo Nix is just throwing the ball late.
Isn't that going to be what happens?
Less than 200 yards is low.
Bo on
again. If you put up 250 against the Steelers, and we saw what the Steelers did to Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm gonna zig both the Vikings and Bo. The Vikings 100%. I'm hesitant on the Bo Nix, but it's a slight zig. It's a slight zig. They could be down
how about the last one?
21 zip, and you can just throw the ball.
Last one. So as you may have heard, this Colts rushing defense is terrible. It is one of the worst we have seen. How many rushing yards did the Packers put up? How many rushing yards did the Texans put up? It's a disaster. You know what they do have, though, is a decent pass rush, right? So what's going to happen? You're going to have your quarterback who Jack knows is not exactly the best passer in the NFL right now. He's going to be running for his life, and they're not going to be able to tackle him. Caleb Williams is at 21.5 rushing yards. Give me the over on that easily.
We'll give me the number one more time.
21.5.
21.5.
You can get that on one scramble against this Colts defense.
I mean, I'm going to zag it. I think the Colts destroy him. I think he loses too many rushing yards on these sacks. Well, does that count as a loss of a rushing yard when he runs back 20 yards and gets sacked?
Usually not. No.
Oh, I thought it did.
Caleb could hit that.
I mean, yeah, he could hit 22. Right? Yeah, I thought when you run back 30 yards and get sacked.
Well, no, then he'd have negative 60 yards.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, in college football, they're negative rushing yards, and the NFL, they're not.
NFL, they're not.
They count against passing yards.
I don't think he's so bad. He'll be running for his life. They'll be losing. He can't throw.
He's going to take off.
He'll take off. I think the attempts will be there. I'm just going under. I just think he's so bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you, Zig.
But I could see the
I'm gonna zig.
I could see the handicap there though.
21.5.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've got a triple zig, a double zig, and a different double zig.
Yeah. So we have Vikings +2, Bo Nix over 180 passing yards, and Caleb Williams over 21.5 rushing yards. That's your Zig or Zach. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Part of the reason I think I threw off Ziggy was because we were supposed to do Jordan Love and his return from the knee injury.
That's
that's on me for kind of bouncing around.
No, fair enough. This Zig or Zag might be my craziest yet. I'm picking the Vikings as home dogs, and I'm picking two of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL to date on overs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
When you put it like that, this sounds awful.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it sounds like a 3-0 card.
So Jordan Love is back at practice somehow, some way. Miraculously, you might say. It's as if there's divine intervention working in the Packers' favor.
Let's not talk like that.
So he's back at practice right now in a limited capacity. Love said he's hopeful to play against the Titans. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the videos, but he looks solid out there at practice. Just pretty regular stuff, just throwing the ball. There are two ways that we could kind of look at this. It's okay. Jordan Love is progressing at a rate that far exceeded the expectations from the original 3 to 6 week diagnosis on his return time, or Matt LaFleur in Green Bay is going, holy crap, Malik Willis can't throw the ball. We got to get this guy back in play right now. And I feel very confident in saying that it is the former. That Jordan Love's knee is just, it happens to be in better shape than we expected at this point. And the signs are actually kind of trending towards him playing this week. Like if you had a gun to my head at this moment, I think I'd say Jordan Love's playing.
I mean, I wouldn't play him.
You would not? Then.
No, I wouldn't play him. I'd let Malik. You can't rush Love. Love happens naturally. Yeah, let it. Just when you least expect it's when it happens. You can't force it. You can't rush it. I would let Malik Willis have his revenge game against Tennessee.
Oh, revenge.
I think that he'd ball out. I have a feeling. I have a feeling he wants to play in this game and he'd play well. Titans are a beatable team. They stink too. You don't got to rush back your superstar quarterback yet. Let Malik have his revenge game. See what he can do in that.
The current line is Titans -2.5. That seems to be a Malik Willis line.
I like Green Bay. I think Green Bay wins. I think Willis plays well, and then they're 2-1. Another full week of Love to rest and recover. Don't force Love.
And then you bring him back against Dallas Gardner.
You bring him back
Van Ginkel.
When Love is the right time, and then at home he shreds the Vikings.
Yeah.
Then he's back.
Ziggy, there's two sides. Two questions I want to ask you. Do you think Jordan Love will play, and should Jordan Love play?
I think that the answer to both of those is no, for the following reason. The Packers have gotten off to an okay start. They're 1-1. The Titans aren't that great. I think even with Malik Willis, they have a reasonable chance to win. Malik Willis showed that he can win you can win games with him as quarterback, which honestly is better than I was expecting. Here's the thing is Jordan Love, I am 1000% sure wants to play. And I think he will be healthy enough that he could play. But with MCL sprains, there is a huge risk of re-injury. And honestly, I mean, in my opinion, the Packers got incredibly lucky that this was not a worse injury, that Jordan Love is in a position where he can be practicing. He practiced on Wednesday, so it was 9 days after he got hurt. That's incredible. But if Jordan Love hurts it again, and he absolutely could, right? It just takes one tackle. You could be looking at him missing the rest of the season and messing with his long-term health. The Packers are not in a position where they need to risk the long-term health of the guy they just signed to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL to play against the Titans. They simply don't have to do that. Give it another week, as Jack said, the re-injury risk will be lower. Love will be healthier. He'll be playing better anyway. I see no reason to rush him out here, and I think they're going to see things the same way.
Yeah, it's week 3.
Yeah, if I were in charge in Green Bay, I would not be playing him either. And I think, getting that win against the Colts, whether or not they had won that game, you want Jordan Love out there when he is at 100%. And given that they did beat the Colts, though, I think that kind of takes a little pressure off, where if you're 0-2, we know how the NFL works. People are breathing down your throat all the time. Media's going after you. There would be a lot of pressure on. If Jordan Love can go, he's got to go. Since they beat the Colts now, I think that it's like if everyone's like, even if you lose to Tennessee and you're 1-2 and Love comes back, he's 100%. You're in fine shape. You're 1-2. You get a chance at the team that will be at the very least tied for the division lead in the Vikings, and you could be either tied for first or one game back by the time Jordan Love is playing in week 4. So I think 100% I would rest him as well, given that he's not like if the doctors clear him, go ahead, throw him out there, but it seems unlikely that he'll be 100% ready for Tennessee.
I don't know if he even wants to play.
I bet.
He wants to play.
No, because he wants to go out Saturday night to Aldean's bar. He wants to go to Aldean's bar on Saturday night.
Not this again,
He wants
Jack.
to go to Aldean's bar on Saturday night. He wants to go to Florida Georgia Line bar. Not worry about things on Sunday. Wake up a little hungover and watch the game.
They're gonna show Jordan.
That's
Love.
What he wants to do.
Jordan Love's gonna be on the sideline on Sunday with shades on.
He'll be throwing up, sunglasses on.
Jordan Love with a mysterious illness.
Yep, I'm telling you, it's right over the bridge.
Packers know some things about players vomiting in the middle of the game.
That was insane.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Yeah, throwing up on the ball to the point where you can't throw it. That's disgusting.
I met my deep South Delta Gamma at Florida Georgia Line bar. I miss
It's a
her.
shame.
I miss her.
You know, Malik Willis is probably like, yeah, I want Love to play. Like, I really want Love to play in this game because he wants to go.
He wants to go out. No, I think he wants to revenge on his team. I think Willis wants.
No,
to play.
he said I could care less, bro. That doesn't. But that sounds like a man who's.
When asked if he wants to play, he said I could care less.
They asked him about the chip, if he has a chip on his shoulder for it. He said I could care less.
Oh, I see.
But
I mean, honestly, it's not even
kind of,
really a revenge game. Honestly, it's like he was on the team for a while. He didn't really do anything, and they moved off of it.
Well, I want to come back and beat them though.
The I could care less, bro. That to me sounds a little bit like they're
Okay, the second sentence is funnier.
Yeah.
He said
I could care less, bro. I think I got paid the whole time I was there. I know what he means, but I like the thought that he doesn't know whether or not they paid his salary. Like maybe they just screwed him out of $1 million.
Yeah, I don't think he likes them.
But Malik deep down wants this.
Oh, yeah, he does. And Love wants to go out to Florida, Georgia.
I think I got paid though actually makes me wonder if he just really could not care any less.
That's what that sounds like, honestly.
No, he wants to play.
So Jordan, like in all likelihood, I'm going to take back from the beginning of the segment. I don't think he plays because the Green Bay's too smart of an organization to put their team.
That's why they call you clickbait, Paul.
That is why they call me. That is why they call me clickbait, Paul. Everyone's been fooled.
He does his job beautifully.
Yeah. Let us know in the comment section if you think Jordan Love should play in the Week 3 game against the Titans. Now, look, guys, another thing to remember for the Packers fans who watch this breakout, or the full episode for that matter, you have a loss Week 4 against the Vikings. So you're approaching this as if you're 1-2 already. Does that change your mind? Just keep that.
I mean, if Jordan Love comes out fully healthy game back against the Vikings, I don't know if I trust in this team anymore.
Yeah, it's
if the
you really want to put him out there against Brian Flores.
If the Packers lose this week to Tennessee and the Vikings beat Houston, you think the Vikings will be a road favorite in Green Bay?
No.
No.
We will be we will probably be a what? 2.5 point, 3.5 point dog.
Probably 3.5 point dog. Yeah.
I mean, if we crush Houston, actually, it is possible.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I'm just saying.
All right,
we won't. But
let's move on now to our game picks.
My ears hurt.
Presented by no one. No sponsors.
It's like when I'm landing on a plane. You know that feeling when your ears hurt?
Dude, no one said it would be easy.
So you gotta chew gum to like get the pressure.
We will take a sponsorship from Advil or Tylenol for Jack's ear pain.
Yeah, I'd love that, please.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, I'm telling you, these headphones get to you a little bit. We don't have Ziggy's high-end luxurious brands.
That's all right, we'll get there.
We do the best we can.
If we had Advil sponsorship, maybe we can get there.
Game picks. The Patriots at the Jets. Jets 6.5 point favorites.
I like the Pats on the road. I like them plus the points. I think it's a close, gritty AFC type of game. Pats are better than people think. Got a good defense. I'm going to go Pats plus the points.
Do they win, though?
It's close.
That's the question. Do they win?
I don't know. I'll pick the Jets to win the game. But the Pats is going to be
We've
close.
done game picks for 3 years, and it has never
still doesn't know the rules.
It has never once been against the spread.
Well, sorry, I'm a gambling man. Jets win the game. Jets win the
Ziggy.
game.
Patriots haven't lost in New York outside of overtime since 2010. The trend's not changing. Give me New England.
False. The Bills beat them last year, didn't they?
I got the Jets in this one as well. I think this is the year they get them. Giants plus 6.5 at the Browns.
The Browns. The Giants will go 0-17.
The Giants have the better quarterback. The Browns have the better defense. I'm going to take the Browns.
The Browns have the much better defense. I'm going to go with the Browns. The Bears, although
I just have to say, the fact that's fallen so far that I say the Giants have the better quarterback and nobody calls
No,
me
they,
on that.
they actually do, though. I would take DJ over Watson.
Hey, Malik Neighbors, too, looked really good last week. Like, there are some signs. There are some signs for the Giants. And just score a touchdown. Or, I'm sorry. I guess they did score 3 touchdowns, right? They were the first team with the 3 touchdowns. So
They gave up 0.
giving up 0 to lose a game.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell them to do.
Scored 3.
Win.
They're hopeless.
The Bears at the Colts, Indianapolis, a 1.5 point favorite.
That's my lock of the week. Colts are 0-2, right?
0-2, yes.
Yeah. Colts are 0-2, lost 2 tight games. Now that you get to destroy the worst quarterback in the world.
Green Bay was kind of tight.
Lost by a touchdown.
Yeah, I guess.
Lost by 6. It was 16-10. Battled Houston at home. Now they get this bum Caleb Williams. I think the Colts blow them out. That's my lock of the week. Colts.
No DeForest Buckner. I'm not taking the Colts. Give me the Bears.
Duh.
Yeah,
No Colts Forge? You're taking
I actually think that the Colts looked pretty bad against Green Bay. Like they looked outright bad in Lambeau Field. The Bears, can they run down their throat the way they did?
So they look bad again?
Who?
The Colts. So you look bad.
They just they lost the best player on the entire team.
I'm going to go with the Colts because they're at home in this one.
Yeah,
I think I'm going with the Colts.
You know who they're playing against? Have you seen that guy?
He'll be better. He'll be better this week.
He won't be.
The Texans at the Vikings. Vikings plus 2.5 at home.
Vikings.
Home dogs.
Skull, baby. That's the money line lock of the week.
Yeah, I'll skull too. I mean, which squad?
I mean, look, we did this as a squad last week.
Trump.
Everybody called us fools. Why would I get off this team now?
Yeah, plus 2.5. I mean,
if Justin Jefferson is out, I will take the Texans, but he's not going to be. So give me the Vikings.
He's playing. All right, the Eagles at the Saints. New Orleans a 2.5 point favorite.
This feels like
This is the
bait game. It's like, oh, New Orleans is at home. They just murdered Dallas. The Eagles look like they stink. I'm gonna take Philly on the road in this spot. I'm gonna take Philly on the road.
You know, we were talking about salmon earlier. Salmon, they sometimes bite bait. I'm feeling like a salmon right now. I will take the bait. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I want to take the Saints.
I'm with you on the Eagles. I think the Eagles.
I think it's biting the bait.
The Eagles should be 2-0. They have a sour taste in their mouth. There's all this hype on the Saints. This is the spot where Philadelphia.
I wish it was in Philly. Oh, if it's
in Philly, I'm taking.
On Philly, yes.
But
I think it's not more interesting in New Orleans.
No, yeah. But I wish Philly was a dog in Philly. You know how amazing that would be?
The Chargers at the Steelers. Pittsburgh a 1.5 point favorite.
Pittsburgh. Watt murders Herbert. Pittsburgh, baby. 3-0. 3-0. We're changing people's minds week by week. 3-0.
I won't say Colts Forged, but I will say Bolt Up. Give me the Chargers.
In our home opener?
Yes. One team has an offense, the other team does not. Therefore, etc.
One team has TJ SWAT.
Yeah, I want to take the Chargers
team.
really bad, but this feels like a spot where I want to take the Chargers, and I do, and then the Steelers beat them by like 2 or 3. So I'm going to reverse jinx or reverse myself, fade myself, and go Steelers here.
We got the best corner in football too in JPJ. He's lockdown.
Yeah, this is 100% fading myself because I believe that the Chargers will win, but I know that the Steelers will. The Broncos at the Buccaneers. All right, all Bucs.
Anyone? All Bucs.
Bucs. The Packers at the Titans. Tennessee 2.5 point favorite. I am assuming this means Malik is playing. Let's assume Malik Willis plays.
I like Malik to go in there and beat the squad who drafted him. I like the Packers to go to 2-1.
I said Bolt Up. I'll say Tighten Up. Give me the Titans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Titans too. If Malik Willis plays, the Titans defense. I mean, the Titans could easily.
You know what? No, give me the Titans even if Jordan Love plays.
Oh, okay.
Well, that is your
the
south.
Titans can easily be 2-0. They should have beat the Bears for certain. And I don't think that the Packers are going to be able to run through them. Like the Colts' run defense was so bad, and they're not going to be able to do that against Tennessee. I think Malik played fine, but with a little more pressure on him to perform, I'm going to go with the Titans in this one.
This is the game Willis balls out. I'm telling you,
could be Panthers.
If he balls out, he balls out. Fair enough.
Yeah, Panthers at the Raiders. Raiders a 5.5 point favorite, and the Dolphins starting for Carolina.
The Panthers.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, all it needed was to change quarterbacks from that idiot. The Panthers are going to win.
I am worried about, you know what Antonio Pierce came out and said today? We're not worried about the Panthers. We've got to fix the Raiders. Now, I get what he's saying, focus on ourselves, but this feels like a classic trap game. On the other hand, it's the Carolina Panthers. He's right to not be worried about him. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what are we watching? What are we watching here? The Raiders just went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens.
You know, the Panthers' only problem was that quarterback.
That's just not true.
They
have one good player on defense, and he's out for the season.
They're going to look much improved.
They might look much improved, but they're not going to look much. I mean, this is
the Raiders aren't good. They won a big game. Congrats. They're not that good.
Dolphins at the Seahawks. You know, this is the thing about the Seattle Seahawks. They have all these games where they're playing the Broncos and they're playing the Patriots, and now they're playing the Dolphins without Tua. So of course they're going to beat the Dolphins without Tua Tagovailoa. But this is what I mean. Like, this is the pretender circled all over them.
Yeah, Seahawks.
But what's the spread in this game, Paul?
4.5.
Give me the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson almost beat Buffalo on the road in the playoffs. That's more impressive than anything that Geno Smith has ever done. Give me the Dolphins.
Okay. Detroit at the Cardinals. Detroit, a 3-point road favorite.
I hate picking teams off a loss, but the Cardinals as a home dog is too appealing for me. So I'll go Arizona.
Chirp, chirp.
Yeah, I know the Rams were hurt, but Kyler Murray is playing. No quarterback in the NFL is more efficient than him. He's looked great. I don't think the Lions will be able to contain his scrambling. Aiden Hutchinson is good, but I don't think he's going to be good enough. Jared Goff struggles. Cardinals win.
I got the Cardinals 2 at home. The Ravens are a 1.5-point favorite at the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys. The Cowboys bounce back. Ravens don't. Dallas.
I would take whichever team was playing at home. The Cowboys are at home. Give me the Cowboys.
I'm going with the Ravens here. I think this is a spot where Lamar Jackson shows up and has a big game, and Dallas doesn't have enough offensive weapons, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going Baltimore here. I think Baltimore responds in a big way. The 49ers at the Rams. The Rams completely injured. 7.5-point favorites. Is anyone going against the 49ers?
No.
That's no one. 3 for the 49ers. Chiefs at the Falcons. Sunday Night Football. A big spot here for Kirk Cousins in primetime again.
Yeah, I kind of like Atlanta.
What's the spread?
3.5-point favorites, the Chiefs.
I like Atlanta here. Chiefs two close wins at home. They won by an inch against Baltimore, and then game-winning field goal against Cincinnati, bailed out by a PI. Now they go on the road. Dome's going to be rocking. I like Atlanta. I like Atlanta out.
It is. No. Give me the Chiefs. I think this Falcons team is decent. I think that they are not going to be able to outscore the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs here too, and the Chiefs defense is very good. Like this is a very
They're just
tough
better
version.
Philly.
Yeah, it's a tough version of the Chiefs to beat. I have Kansas City. All right, so we have 2 Monday Night Football games here. The Jaguars at the Bills. Buffalo, a 4.5-point favorite.
Buffalo.
Jaguars.
Really?
Really, I think that Trevor Lawrence has played fine. I think things are finally going to click. And let's not forget, Josh Hines Allen historically has owned Josh Allen. The Jaguars have the better Josh Allen in this duo. They're going to get it done.
Okay, I have Buffalo. The Commanders at the Bengals. Bengals 7.5-point favorites in the second Monday Night Football game.
Probably the Bengals. I'm not sold on the Bengals. I don't like them. I mean, 0-2 at home, must-win game. You got to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, it's week 3, Joe Burrow. They should be okay. I think the Commanders might cover. But give me the Bengals.
It's also week 3, Jane Daniels 0-2 on the road, must win.
True.
It's not a must win for them, though. They didn't have real expectations this year.
I'm going with the Bengals too.
Yeah,
okay,
Bengals.
So there you have it, the game picks, and that leads us in to the Jack Cap of the week.
I don't know if I want to give another one after that painful loss last week. I mean, that was just
that was
brutal.
bad. I mean, you picking Graham Mertz in that spot.
Well, I didn't know Mertz was playing.
Gotta be informed.
Well, is that coach stupid?
That it's Napier. Yeah, I mean, we talked about segments.
He's getting fired.
We talked about segments, and you know what? It's a mean segment because this isn't a mean show. Like this is an uplifting show. So we are debating a segment called like, how the hell do you still have your job? How the hell have you not been fired? And I think it's a little that's a little harsh.
But I don't understand. Like, if you have a 5-star who lights it up,
well, Billy Napier would be on.
yeah. Like, how do you have a 5-star who lights up the world week 2,
Mike Norvell,
and then you put in like a bum and like I'll play quarterback.
I mean, to be fair, Jack, the 5-star also looked horrendous when he played.
But how do you get in a rhythm? You get in a rhythm.
Yeah, no.
You're playing
look, Graham Mertz. I don't have a ton against
You're playing
Graham
series and series. You can't get in a rhythm.
I know people at Wisconsin who did not like Graham when he played there, and for various reasons. And it's kind of shocking that, with the way he's performed throughout his collegiate career, that he's still getting the starting reps at a major university. Like, if he wanted to go somewhere else, if he wanted to go to a lower level,
no, he can play at Muhlenberg.
No, but he's getting the starting job at not just a major university, but a major university in a must-win spot
in the SEC. Yeah, it's just kind of like that's a little surprising to me still, but we digress.
All right, Jack, what's the cap?
Yeah, so I was 1-2 last year, so no panic. I trust the signs. I trust myself.
You like the Bengals?
Exactly. I like the Bengals. I was coming home today from work. I was in a good mood because work was over. And it's Friday Junior. I turned the radio up and Imagine Dragons is on the radio. Radioactive. You know that song Radioactive? Radioactive.
You can't say Imagine Dragons.
I was I can't say Imagine Dragons.
Imagine dragging these, you know.
Yes.
Be careful with that.
Yes. So I turned the radio up and windows were down. I was driving home. I was happy. And I received word from my father when I got home. He heard the music blasting in the car. He's like, Jack, I got a fun fact for you. I'm like, what is it, Dad? He said, you know, Dan Reynolds, the lead of Imagine Dragons, he formed that band when he was a student at BYU. I'm like, really? So there we go. We're taking BYU plus 6.5 in prime time at night against Kansas State. Give me those. Cougs. Give me those. Cougs.
All
I
right.
can't get behind that.
This is the Caps are wild this year.
Give me those Cougs.
BYU at home. Well, BYU's crazy at night.
They're crazy
right?
at home. They're 3-0 too. They're all pumped for church the next day. They're going to win the game outright.
BYU, there it is. The cap of the week. Hey, I'm all for it, man. Jack speaks and I open up my apps.
Most people do.
Yep. That's the way to be. That's the way to be. All right, so there you have it. The week 3 preview show, a little contender pretender, Zigger Zag, Jordan Love, game previews, Jack cap of the week. What is there not to love in this preview show of week 3? We'll see you guys for the week 4 reaction, and we have a mailbag coming up.